I'm Alison Zatta.
And I'm Valen Shore.
And if you would like to learn more about our musical Chriskirkpatrickmas, please listen to this interview. And we'd love for you to join us at the Edinburgh Fringe in August.
Chris Kirkpatrickmas came about as an idea 10 years ago. We were at our friends Laura and Bethany's apartment, and we were just joking around as we often did. And we thought, hey, wouldn't it be funny if Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC had a Christmas musical about him called Chris Kirkpatrickmas? And it really just should have ended there. But instead, Allison and I, we locked eyes across the room, and it was kind of this like, I refer to it as a death glare, although the intentions were purer than that. And, we knew we had to at least start it. So we started writing songs in our apartment. We were roommates at the time in Los Angeles. And we would keep coming back together to write it. It kind of became an obsession on its own. It's been through so many rewrites, so
Mm-hmm.
many revisions, so many breaking it down and building it up again from the bottom. Um, the songs kept coming and the story kept evolving in ways that made us laugh. And I think we just kept trying to make each other laugh, honestly. And that's why we kept doing it.
Yeah, the great thing about working with Valen is that we do have very similar senses of humor, but we also have, we have very different approaches and very different backgrounds and skill sets. Like the music that she is able to hear in her head and then like put out of her head into the world. I don't even know how anyone does that. It seems like witchcraft to me, but I wish I had that power, but I don't. And then I sometimes I'll hear like conversations, which sounds a little loopy, but it's true. And together we are able to create something that I don't think either of us could have done on our own, or I know I couldn't have done it on my own for sure.
Same.
Yeah, and we would just over the years, we would it was a joke at first, but we were like, if we were gonna do it, which we're not gonna do because it's so silly, we would have a song about this and let's just write it. And then we would do that. And then eventually, 7 or 8 times later, we realized we had almost a whole show and we should probably just finish it. And then when
And so
the
we wrote four more songs.
and during when we were all kind of locked down in 2020, we had some time on our hands, and at that point Valen and I were no longer roommates, but we decided to meet up on Zoom and finish up the show, which we did. So Chris Kirkpatrickmas, a boy band Christmas musical, is set on Christmas Eve 2009, when Chris Kirkpatrick of the boy band NSYNC has a big decision to make, and he has a chance to make a Christmas wish, but he only has until the clock strikes midnight to make it. And we like to think of it as a combination of A Christmas Carol meets It's a Wonderful Life meets NSYNC.
Yep.
Alan, do you want to talk about the other characters?
I mean, the other characters are the other members of NSYNC. And with that ensemble feeling of a boy band, we kind of, I don't know how to explain it. They change into different ensemble characters. There's a very special angel character played by Alison, a throwback to one of the original 90s boy bands, New Kids on the Block. So there's something for everybody, we'd like to think, but especially millennials and Gen Xers.
Yeah, the nice thing about having the structure be these familiar stories like A Christmas Carol and It's a Wonderful Life is that even if you're coming in not knowing anything about NSYNC or you're not sure where the story's going, I think that people do feel like, oh, I kind of know, because we know the structure of A Christmas Carol, right? We know It's a Wonderful Life. It's going to be someone kind of revisiting key moments in their past and figuring out why they are where they are. So I think that gives people something to latch on to, and then we get to take them on this fantastical journey.
Yeah, the important main themes of this musical: identity,
Mm-hmm.
discovery, and what Allison says that I have always really liked is what happens on the other side of a dream come true. You want to add to that, Allie?
Yeah. I think that as Valen said, the identity is a huge theme in this. And yeah, what happens on the other side of a dream come true? Because we're all everyone in the cast and, we working on it. This is from a very Los Angeles place. All of us are people who moved out here for, industry reasons to try to achieve these dreams, and with varying levels of success, but it never works out quite the way you picture it when you're, home in your bedroom in your parents' house. Right. And we have no idea what it was like to be in NSYNC and have that immense success and then have that kind of end, but also continue, and just be in that like in between place, which is where our show takes place. But we have experienced in our own careers, a lot of ups and downs and near misses and near hits, so we play a lot with that, and we try to imagine and explore what it is like to kind of achieve that thing that you wanted, but maybe it didn't go exactly as planned.
And what would happen if you're Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC in 2009 and you get visited by a Christmas angel and he takes you on a journey about your life with NSYNC?
Yeah, I mean, and we have no idea that probably didn't happen. We made that up, but who's to say? But yeah, we just had a lot of fun with it, and overall, it's just supposed to be a joyous Christmas celebration. It's a feel good show. We want people to walk out of it feeling happy and positive and optimistic about the future.
We were both inspired by classic musical theater tropes and having fun with that as well. And I think what ended up happening because of that is an interesting blend of like classic musical theater and totally just alternative comedy absurdness.
Yeah.
But it feels like it works because of the familiarity, as Alison was saying, of that musical theater ride.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not coming at you with anything too zany that it can't be absorbed like that.
Yeah. And Valen's background is more in the pop sphere, I guess you'd say. So the musical influences are really interesting. I think it's less like traditional musical theater and more into that boy band world at times. And Valen is really able to do all of those styles. So we get to use all of those styles in the show, which is really cool.
What I want the audience to get out of this very special Christmas musical is like a different perspective, I think, on what it means to be not just an artist, but somebody with a dream, and the full story of what that dream is. Because oftentimes I think the story ends at when the dream comes true instead of the very real aftermath of what that means to assign value of your life to this thing that represents success. So I think that there's something in that, but also I would just love people to have a good time. Yeah. It's a fun ride. Every time we get on it, those themes are in there, but you wouldn't know it to begin with. We don't want the audience to feel like there's any responsibility of getting anything bigger out of the show than just the fact that it is absurd. So first and foremost, laughing. Yes. And laughing and having fun with the songs and the ride. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, I think Valentina said that beautifully. We just want people to have fun. We want people to maybe learn a little bit about NSYNC and give Chris Kirkpatrick the respect and admiration that he is due, because he did start that band. And some people, it seems like that information was like not widely known for a long time because he wasn't the breakout star, that Justin Timberlake became, for example. But Chris Kirkpatrick is the reason that band existed. And he is just a very impressive person, and we respect him greatly, and we hope that everyone else does too.
Part of the original idea, and this was always our motive for doing a show as well, is no one has told this story about Chris before. Yeah. And it felt like the more research we did, accidental at first, but then became an obsession, especially for Alison. Alison, it became really important for her and then for me for it to be historically accurate. And it is.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've taken some liberties, like the fact that it's set in Los Angeles at this particular time and, all of the guys are there. Like that's, not probably how it was actually going on, but the events of NSYNC's history that we talk about, and a lot of little references along the way, there's a lot there. There's an iceberg underneath of kind of deep cuts for the people who do know the NSYNC history, and for people who don't, it does guide you really, I think, really smoothly along their history.
The facts of what happened, and particularly with Chris's story, is so interesting on its own. We probably didn't need to add all the Christmas stuff to it for it to be an interesting story, but it is a fun twist, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, we can make a formal invitation right now. NSYNC, if you are listening to this, you are invited. We have reserved seats for you every night. Also, we do know that they know of it. Chris's manager came to our opening night over the summer when we were doing Fringe. And she was very supportive. She did ask why we did this.
Fair question.
Yes, but was, very, how do you say it? I think that she loved it.
Yeah, I think, I think she appreciated it because it's true, and it's positive, and it's I as Valen said, people aren't talking about this story, and it's worth talking about. And we did, we let them know that we were doing the show again, and they were very supportive of that as well. So yeah, we would love for everyone to come see the show. Anyone who wants to, just email us.
And in our long-term dreams, we would love for them to play these parts, or maybe play
each other. Yeah.
Maybe Justin can play Chris and Chris can play Justin and really switch it up.
Be exciting.
Who knows?
Anything can happen.
I think it really does feel like a ride when you're performing it. So I think that, the thing that I look forward to the most is having fun and having that back and forth with the audience, because it's a relationship. They're trusting you to take care of them through this story, and they're letting you know that it's working through claps and laughs. And that give and take. I come from the music world, and a lot of my artist music is quite serious, I would say. It's been in a lot of dramatic TV and film type things. So being able to do a comedy has been so refreshing for that reason. To be able to have that relationship and that back and forth with the audience. I don't typically get to sing songs where people laugh. So it's been really exciting for me and really stimulating. And that's what I look forward to.
Yeah. For me, it's hard to separate writing from the performance of it, because I do, when the audience laughs at a line, the writer part of my brain is just like, check, but at the same time, I think as an actor, I feel the best when the show goes by so quickly and I don't even know, there are these moments where you're so invested in it and you're so present that like you kind of lose the awareness of the fact that you're crouched on this hardwood stage in the middle of West Hollywood and you're just having this experience. And that it's such a fun it doesn't always happen, but when you manage to get on that roller coaster and it goes and you're with it and you're just in it, and at the end of it you're like, I don't even know what just happened, but like, yeah, that feeling as an actor is that's what I love. And it can be challenging to, wear so many hats because there's not as much time to just to focus on the acting part of it, which is, probably the most fun part. But I really do appreciate that. Like there are times when I'm on stage with Valen and we're having this moment and it just like, all of a sudden we're like, yeah, we're here and we're doing this thing that we said we were going to do. And I'm just so proud and honored that we get to do it.
It can be really trippy at times because, we started writing this 10 years ago. And when we were writing it, we would imagine as we were writing it, what it would kind of feel like to be on stage doing, you imagine the story with that in mind. Yeah. And there are times where I'm on stage with Alison and we're doing a scene together as Chris and Marky Mark. And it's just the way that we imagined it. but it's real. It's real life.
Yeah.
And that is weird, but I'm here for it. But there will be these little moments. I felt it last night, Alison. I don't know if you did when we were on our last scene together, where we were wrapping things up, and I was just like I had this moment. I was like, yeah, there's my best friend. Like we did it. We're on stage. That's our last scene. We did it.
We did it.
So there's something incredibly fulfilling and satisfying about seeing what we're made of with this project.
Yeah.
You should attend even if you know nothing about NSYNC, but you should especially attend if you do. You know, the It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Carol thing really we have found works for any age, especially like older than the typical NSYNC fan.
Yeah.
You should see the show if you want to laugh. Like we've had a hard couple of years as like a species, you know, this is a good time, I think, to escape. And I am so proud that our show is able to do that for people. It seems, at least for us, like we're having so much fun doing it that it's been very cathartic.
Yeah. And you should see the show also to kind of, we have some pretty cool people who have worked on this show, some Broadway folks. We have Taylor Williams and Josh Milliken, and Taylor is our music director. He did a lot of the arranging. That Valen can speak the music language a lot better than I can.
All the orchestrations.
Yeah, and Josh is our sound designer, and they are both Broadway guys.
Yeah, so we're so incredibly lucky to have them for this. What was supposed to just be a cardboard box musical, but now has been legitimized a little bit by these incredible talents.
We are really passionate about bringing it over there. Valen and I actually met in Edinburgh. We met online. Valen was already living over there, and I moved over there after college. And I was looking for a place to live at the exact moment when she happened to be looking for a roommate, and she advertised on Gumtree, which is kind of like their version of Craigslist. And I saw the ad and responded. And that is where all of this began. It was this weird twist of fate. So for us, going back to Edinburgh personally is this full circle moment. But it also, I mean, the Edinburgh Fringe is, you know, the biggest fringe festival in the world, and it's it's so exciting. There's all this opportunity. So many amazing shows kind of got their start at Edinburgh, including Six, which Josh is now working on. And for us, we feel as though this show would do really well there. We're so excited to bring it there and introduce it to that audience, and see where it goes after that.
I want as many people to see me in red camo pants as possible.
I think our goals for the musical, we have so many. We're just starting out, and we don't really know how it's going to go or where it's going to go. There's a version of it where we we do the show in LA at Christmas every year, which would be super fun. There's a version of it where, you know, we bring it to Chicago or New York and do it there. There's a version where we go to Edinburgh and we end up doing it in London, which would be, I would die. That would be amazing. But, you know, we just don't know yet. We're just starting out. We're so open to whatever possibilities we get with it. We just, as Valen said, we want as many people as possible to come see it and to enjoy it. And yeah, we'll take this ride wherever it goes.
Yeah, sharing it is really, now that it's done, and because we, you know, for so long couldn't show people this because it wasn't done.
Yeah,
but we had been working on it so long. We had so many fragments of it, and it didn't really make sense out of context as much as we would have liked it to other people. So it's just really nice also to be able to finally pull back the curtain and be like, you know, that thing that we've been
the thing we've been talking about for 10 years.
I've had some friends come to the show, and they were like, afterwards, you know, they were very complimentary, and they were saying things like, yeah, like Valen played me demos like 8 years ago, and I was like, what is going on? But, you know, just not believing that we were actually continuing to work on this. But they were very pleased with the end result, and happy that we did. It's been fun to show people what the absurdity turned into.
Yes, exactly.
I'm Valen Shore, and you should come see this musical. We're at Chriskirkpatrickmas musical on Instagram, and you can find our websites and ticket links at www.chriskirkpatrickmas.com, or you can just Google Chris Kirkpatrickmas or try, and I think it will come up now.
Yeah, I'm Alison Zatta, and we'd love for you to join us at the Edinburgh Fringe in August. We would love to see you there. It's super fun, and we'd love for you to follow along with the show and see where we go next. Who knows? Only one way to find out. Follow us. That's the way.